Rwanda and why we have to sanction them. And he told me that every time you bring up the killings and the horrible murders that he's doing to his own people and to also the poor Congolese, they always say, in 1994, we had the genocide. We understand. We're sorry about that. But the killings, in 1994, we had the genocide. This man has used the death of people to cover his, pardon my French, his bottom. It's an excuse for everything. Kagame will murder an entire family, and he would say, stop killing people. And he would say, in 1994, we had the genocide. It's stupid. It's enough. We've had enough of this nonsense. It's enough.
So it is a great day that we hope will continue. We set forth, a succession of events that will ultimately lead us to a free again country, to a just again country, to a democratic again country of Rwanda. So today is a great day, really. That is, I guess, the coming together, like I said, of the Rwandan opposition, the Rwandan political opposition. For 30 years plus, actually 30 plus years, we've had a regime in Rwanda that has completely stifled the opposition and also really kind of divided it. Each time there was an attempt to come together, somehow things disintegrated. But we think this time is for good. This time is for good. And I'm pleased to welcome the leaders of the political parties that are present here today. Others were not able to make it, but we have some of them who were able to make it here today. So before we move forward, I would like to just introduce them to all of you so you know who they are. I will start with Madame Christine, Reverend Christine, and she can maybe turn around and say hi to you all. And thank you very much. And she's the president of MRD Party, and she's a Christian leader also, and she's a powerful leader in the community as well. And maybe we will say more about her in the coming minutes. And then we have Madame Nadine Kansinge. And you can also give her a round of applause. Thank you. And she's the president of Ishema Party. Ishema, for our guests who don't understand Kinyarwanda, and by the way, we have a couple of Congolese also. My apologies to you guys. I know you helped us. Why don't you stand up? Thank you so much. So these two gentlemen, yes, please be seated. These two gentlemen were instrumental in the first part of the day that took place this morning. They helped us galvanize the community, and they put together the signs that you see that are all over the place. They helped us put that together, and we have no doubt that they will be with us in the campaign ahead. So thank you so much for coming. Now, I was talking about Ishema Party and explaining to you, my Congolese brothers, and also to our American friends. Ishema means pride in our language. So it's the Pride Party. And maybe she can elaborate when she gets a chance to talk, but it's all about regaining the pride as a citizen, as a country, regaining the pride. We've gone through, oh my God, a terrible past, 30 years prior to the war and after the war. But the party is about regaining the pride as not only as a country, but as a people together and maybe as a region as well. So maybe she will have more to say about that. And finally, Pierre Celestin Rwarinda, who is the president of FDU in Yingi. Please. Thank you, Pierre Celestin. This gentleman visits us from France. So he traveled from France to be with us today because it's an important day, as I was saying, in a journey, in a political journey of Rwandans, not only here in the US, but Canada and France. And speaking of France, coming from places, we have friends from Canada. Madame Kansinge Nadine came from Canada. We have Peter Celestin who came from France. And I believe we have a couple of gentlemen who came from Australia, right? If they would rise so we can recognize them. Thank you, thank you. And we have people who traveled from Texas, far away Texas, and from, from Texas too. Okay, I thought it was someplace else. And also from Ohio, myself, and maybe from other places, from Virginia, of course, and from North Carolina. We're also people from North Carolina. And I almost forgot, we have somebody who traveled here from Oregon. So that's, to me, that's a testament that the people who we have here today are really committed to making this thing work. They sacrificed whatever else they had to do today. They made the commitment to travel, expenses and everything, to be here. Because if you're building anything you're building, be it a house or an organization, the foundation has to be strong. So I consider the people present here today as the foundation of the new political opposition. And hopefully other people, other Rwandans will join us to make it even stronger. But the foundation has to be strong. And those who made it today, who were able to make it today, are part of that powerful foundation that we're looking to put together. So we're going to be opposed. It's going to be a long fight. And we better be ready because it's going to be a long fight. So we will have Madame Nadine Kansinge, who will entertain us, she will discuss the current political situation in Rwanda, as well as parts of human rights problems in Rwanda, maybe not, but she will discuss those issues. Madame Kansinge, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Bonjour. I come away from Quebec. We are French speakers, and the Rwandese speaker and Italian speaker. Last one is English. My English is so not so good as you guys who living all the time. As we said, it's Nadine Ncdr. I'm serving as the president of Ishema Party. For many years, Rwanda has been presented internationally as a model of stability and development. However, behind this image lies a political system where democratic freedom remains severely restricted and where citizens who express dissent continue to face intimidation, imprisonment, disappearance, to face an even death. A political system that operates as such cannot be a model. It must be treated as it is, and levied not only to avoid, but also to uproot. The political space in Rwanda remains tightly controlled by the ruling FPR Inkotanyi. Since 1929, no genuine independent political organization has been freely allowed to register because of intimidation, obstruction, and the political persecution that become everyday routine. Political pluralism exists largely in appearance, while in practice opposition voice are systematically silenced. Any attempt to organize politically outside structured by the ruling party is often treated as a threat to state security. Ishema Party itself experienced this exclusion directly, both in 2016 and in 2017. Our party was prevented from registering and participating in election despite repeated effort to come with legal requirements. Those actions demonstrated clearly that the political system in Rwanda does not permit genuine democratic competition. This reality has deprived Rwandan of the fundamental democratic right to choose their leader freely and to participate openly in the governance of their country. Rwanda's recent political history has been marked by repeated persecution of opposition leaders, critics of the government. Victoria Ingabire Umuhoza was imprisoned after attempting to participate in presidential elections. She was re-arrested last year and is now in ending provisional detention, waiting for a political motivated trial. Deo Mushahidi and Bernard Ntaganda were also arrested and imprisoned for exercising their political right and expressing dissenting views. Theoneste Ncdr and many other political activists have faced repeated harassment and persecution because of the opposition activities. We also remember the tragic killing of Andrea Kagwa Gwisereka, the vice president of Democratic Green Party of Rwanda, whose death sent a shock wave through the opposition community. Equally troubling remains and observes the disappearance of Boniface Twagirimana, deputy leader of FDU in Hing, who disappeared while in detention under highly suspicious circumstances. To this day, his family and the Rwandan people have not received credible answers regarding his disappearance. Freedom of speech in Rwanda continues to deteriorate. Independent journalists, online commentators, YouTubers who criticize government police are regularly arrested, threatened, persecuted, or forced into silence. Individuals such as Ivona Idamand become a symbol of repression after publicly criticizing the government and subsequently being imprisoned. Niyosenga Diodone, also known as Kuma Hassan, was arrested and imprisoned after reports on issue affecting an ordinary citizen. Theoneste Sengimana of Umuravu is also currently imprisoned under what many observers regard as politically motivated and fabricated accusation intended to silence independent journalists. Karasira Aimable, the guy we talked before, also faced persecution and imprisonment after oppressing this dissenting opinion online. His recently died immediately after completing a 5 years imprisonment sentence, and has raised his death has raised serious concern and renewed fear among many Rwandans regarding the treatment of government critics. We also remember journalist John William Ntwari, whose death occurred under circumstances that continue to raise serious questions among the journalists, human rights defenders, and members of civil society. The climate of fear created by this action undermined the free speech and discouraged citizens from participating openly in national debates. Ishema political party itself has not been spared from this repression. Dr. Joseph Musi, one of the founding members of our party, was repatriated from Norway and arrested upon arriving in Kigali. He is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence. Another member, Aphrodis Matuje, disappeared after years of detention in undisclosed location. His whereabouts and condition remain unknown, causing anguish to his family, friends, and its colleagues. Those cases demonstrate that repression in Rwanda is not selective, but systematic against all independent political voices. As part of such of peaceful, inclusive, the National Council for Democracy in Rwanda, NCDR, as a part of a search for a peaceful and inclusive solution to Rwanda's political crisis, we are about to announce that the right now launching in Washington, D.C. is its initiative intended to bring together opposition organizations, civil societal actors, intellectual, members of diaspora, regional leaders, youth, women, and democratic force committed to peaceful political transformation in Rwanda. The National Council of Democracy in Rwanda seeks to create a common platform for dialogue, coordination, reconciliation, and prepare for an inclusive democratic transition. Rwanda's future cannot be built through exclusion, fear, or repression. It must be built through participation, mutual respect, and the recognition of the rights of all citizens. We believe that sustainable peace and stability will only be achieved when all Rwandans are allowed to participate freely in shaping the future of their country. Our vision for democracy change, we believe that Rwanda can move toward peaceful democratic transformation without violence or instability. During the COVID-19, Party Ishema presented a proposal aimed at establishing national reconciliation, democratic openness, respect for human rights, and exclusive governance. Those proposals remain relevant today. The opening of political space to the peaceful political organization, release of all political prisoners and the prisoners of conscience, independent investigation into disappearance, suspicion, death, and allegation of abuse, judicial independence and rule of law, freedom of expression, media freedom, and the protection of civil society. National dialogue involving all components of Rwanda society, free and fair election supervised by credible independent institutions. The message for Rwanda international partners. We wish to assure Rwanda's economic, financial, and military partners that democratic political change in Rwanda does not threaten legitimate international interests. On the contrary, long-term stability and sustainable cooperation can only flourish under government that respects the rights and dignity of its citizens. A governance system grounded on accountability, justice, and democratic participation is the best guarantee for safeguarding foreign investment, regional security cooperation, and economic partnership. We also wish to emphasize on important principle to the international community. President Kagame should not be confused with a national of the Rwanda itself. Government and leader come and go, but people of Rwanda remain. The international community has a long time interest in living and cooperating in a harmony with the Rwanda people, nor with any single individual or a ruling group. A democratic transition in Rwanda should be therefore not be viewed as a threat to international partnership, regional stability, or economic cooperation. A democratic transition in Rwanda should not be therefore not be viewed as a threat to the international partnership, regional stability, or economic cooperation. On the contrary, the political system based on freedom, accountability, inclusive would strengthen Rwanda's institution and created more stable and stronger environment for all partners. However, when international community remains silent while Rwanda people face oppression, many citizens increasingly perceive foreign partners as accomplices of authoritarian rule. This perception risks damaging the trust and goodwill necessary for future cooperation. We therefore call open democratic nation, human rights organization, and international institutions to stand with the people of Rwanda on the legitimate aspiration of freedom, justice, and democratic governance. In conclusion, the people of Rwanda deserve a nation where no citizen is imprisoned for their opinion, where political competition are not criminalized, and where every individual can speak, organize, participate freely in the public life. Ishema Party remains committed to peaceful democratic change, national reconciliation, and the building of Rwanda government by law rather than fear. I thank you.
Thank you, Madame Kansinge, for that powerful presentation. Right now, we are going to maybe kind of hurry up a little bit. We are behind really on our schedule. We have 1 hour left, and we have a whole list of events to go through. So, and our main speaker has had a schedule that is so hectic. It's been impossible for him to keep up, and he's going to leave us, unfortunately. So that's why before he leaves us, we would like to listen to what he has to say. A powerful gentleman, a strong gentleman that really played a significant role in, in the birth and the realization of this, National Council. Without him, I don't think it would have been possible. So we are pleased and honored to have him. And I'm gonna have Reverend Christine Coleman introduce him so he can come and share a few words of wisdom with us. We are so honored and blessed to have him. Madam Christine Coleman.
Thank you so much. I think this is good, but we need to move it fast. We need to move it fast. Come on, guys. Let's this is a good moment. This is a good moment. There is something that's going to happen. Dr. Eliel, if you could step in the room, get Brother Von Button, I would really appreciate it. But let me tell you, there are great things that are happening. Yesterday, we were at the Capitol here, and they listened to us. We were able to meet with some Congress people. We were able to be received by the State Department. I tell you, the protocol they gave us, it was amazing. And the time has come for us to tell our own story. The criminals are now going to be allowed to tell our own stories. We are working at that. I wish I can share with you what the Congress told us. Keep advocating, even if it's you only. You stand, you hold that sign, because the world is watching and they are listening. I do believe the time has come for God to give us the platform. Look how all of a sudden things would change when Trump got in power. So we've got to take that opportunity. Anyways, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Von Batten, Dr. Carr. He is very busy. He is very powerful. We love him. Please pray for him, because God is using him to change Africa. God is using him to restore Africa. If you don't mind, I would like to take just 1 minute to introduce you, because that's what people do. And I will use your own words. He doesn't want us to give him a praise. He always say, glory to God. I think the first time I tried to introduce him, I was doing my best to really introduce him really good. Then he said, Pastor Christine, Reverend Coleman, let me help you. So he gave me his own introduction, which I'm going to read. And you've got to do that. So anyways, Dr. Carl Von Batten, I call him my brother. He's the managing partner of Von Batten Montague York LC, a Republican advisory lobbying group. He is also the chairman of the development committee of the DC Republican Party. And earlier this year, President Trump appointed him as a member of the Export-Import Bank of the United States of America Advisory Committee on Sub-Saharan Africa. Brother Von Batten, we love what you're doing. Rwanda sees hope in what you're doing for us, and we promise you we are ready to do whatever it takes to carry out all the advice and all the training you're going to give to us.
Good afternoon. I know this is better now. I'll figure it out. This is much better, I think. This way? Good. Blame my ancestors. Much better. Good afternoon, everyone. Please call me Carl. Von Batten is my great-grandfather. So my family is confused in many ways. But regardless of the name, I'm a black man. I'm African. I have Nigerian blood in my veins. It runs deep. It's an honor to be here. I see in front of me brave people who intend to stand up to one of the most brutal human beings I've had the unfortunate mispleasure to meet once, not too long ago. Before I begin, I just want to give you a small antidote. Every single major movement begins with one step, with one voice. Think about the American Civil Rights Movement. Think about when Barack Obama ran, it was just one small room. Think about when President Trump first ran, it was 3 people in the room. Size means nothing in the beginning. It means everything in the end. Every great journey begins with one step. Do not forget that. Do not lose hope. You are blessed by God to do amazing stuff, and you're in this room now. And by God's grace, your grandkids will remember this day as a day Kagame was fired. So, small joke. So I was speaking to a member of Congress about Kagame, and we're trying to get him sanctioned. And by the way, no one likes him in Congress. And I won't mention who this member of Congress is. And he says, every time I open my door, I see Rwanda's lobbyists every single day. They might be extremely evil people, but they're very effective. They understand the art of lobbying. They understand the art of Washington, D.C. The Rwandan embassy has events almost every single week at US colleges, and they target the kids who they believe will one day go into government. They're making friends, and those friends have protected them for a long time, which is why to get him sanctioned was like pulling teeth, because his friends were always blocking things and doing things. He's an evil, smart genius, but he's still evil no matter what. And so, another story again, speaking to a different member of Congress about, Rwanda and why we have to sanction them. And he told me that every time you bring up the killings and the horrible murders that he's doing to his own people and to also the poor Congolese, they always say, in 1994, we had the genocide. We understand. We're sorry about that. But the killings, in 1994, we had the genocide. This man has used the debt of people to cover his, pardon my French, his bottom. It's an excuse for everything. Kagame will murder an entire family, and you say, stop killing people. And he will say, in 1994, we had the genocide. It's stupid. It's enough. We've had enough of this nonsense. It's enough. I remember telling someone in Mar-a-Lago that this guy wins every election with 99.9% of the vote. And they were shocked. There's a belief that the US government knows everything. No, it doesn't. It's large. There's problems around the world. People want help. They're only human beings. And so you have to inform them of what's going on. You have to engage. You have to call them. Your biggest strength is you. Your biggest strength is your people. Every one of you, your cousin, your friend who's an American citizen, is a lobbyist. Have them call their member of Congress and demand action. You have to get Congress to get tired of you. When they say, stop calling, we'll do something. Till you will do that, nothing's going to happen. So again, your biggest ambassadors are your fellow Rwandans who are in the United States of America. It's your power. It's your superpower. I truly believe that God, before you're born, your life is planned out. It's a belief of mine. God has seen your life and has planned it out for you. You all did not come to this great country for yourself. You came for a mission. God is going to use you to change Rwanda, to change Africa. Before you were born, you were destined to be in this room with this mission. Let that be your powerful, shining armor around you as you push to change your country of your home bird. We are all proud Americans. You can tell I wasn't born in Chicago. We're all immigrants. We're all proud Americans. But we're also proud Africans. And there's no way that as a black man in this country, I can see my African brothers and sisters get murdered in Rwanda and keep quiet. Get murdered in Ghana and keep quiet. Get murdered in Nigeria and keep quiet. It's a sin against man and God to keep quiet when people are starving and getting killed. So I say again, you are blessed by God to do great stuff. Do not forget that. You're on a mission. Grow this union, grow this movement, grow the people. It's a movement. It's not politics. It's a movement. I remember the first time I began to reach out to you guys. Because again, I was in Congress talking about Kagame again, and the question I get all the time is, so Carl, if we remove this guy, who replaces him? Because again, in the US, it's self-interest. They don't want a crazy person to replace him. And so they, the factual person stays there. The devil we know is better than the devil we do not know. Isn't logic. So your mission is to ensure that Congress knows who you are. Everyone here is a leader. Even the future one in Congress and Parliament, in office, there's ambassador, everyone is a leader. Let them know your name. Let them cry about your name because you're going to give them hell. Kagame should be really, really scared. Because again, he's messed up. I remember, and again, your movement is not going to be perfect. You're going to fight. You're going to have arguments because we are flawed human beings. That's what we are. But through that argument and through that conflict, you will build something that will withstand the force of Kagame. The arguments you're having here, it's nothing compared to what Kagame is going to unleash. Nothing. Let this growth you're going through be your building blocks. Let it strengthen you. Let every child in Rwanda know that hope is coming. Let every grandmother know that hope is coming. Let every father know that hope is coming. It might be slow. It's normally slow, but it's coming. And by God's grace, it's going to happen. There's something that makes me laugh all the time about Kagame, and I hope he sees this. The man is a coward. I watch his tapes on YouTube, and it's bravado. He's like, no. But when he comes here, he begs. This is not joking. They beg. They beg for everything. Money, this. It's like they beg. There is no respect for this man in Congress. He's a paper tiger. And so when you see the man on television being condescending to his own ministers, and then you see him here, like, this is two different people. Unrelated people. One is from Denmark, one is Swedish. Not even the same people. He begs. His people begs. And when I know, and I've seen his ambassador, and they're great people, doing their job. I've met the ambassador, and I remember in Jesse Jackson's funeral in Chicago, I was sat here, and they were sat there, and they had different ambassadors in front of me, and they kept looking at me and giving me evil eyes, and I was trying to look anywhere but them. But I know it's not their fault. They're just doing their job. They see me and they see you and say, these are traitors. They hate Rwanda. You can't blame them. They're just doing their jobs. They're afraid. Your job is to convince them to join this revolution. There is no enemy here. All Rwandans, no matter what your tribe is, what your religion is, what your gender is, you're all the same. There's only one enemy, and that's Kagame. Do not fight your people. Fight the enemy within. Fight Kagame. He is the target. He has to go. And thank God we have President Trump. I'm very biased. I love the guy. My firm is a Republican firm. We're very proud about it. We work with Democrats. My wife is a Democrat. She's going to kill me for saying this. And I do identify with many ideas that my friends on the other side have. They're not bad people. We just disagree. We're all Americans. And the same concept is the same in Rwanda. You're all Rwandese. You're the same people. You disagree, that's fine. Because it's no more about us. It's about our kids, our grandkids, those who have not been born yet. Do we allow them to be born in bondage by a bastard, pardon my French, who has killed millions, stolen millions? It would be a sin against God and man to allow this to happen. My role here is simply to help in any way I can help, to advise when I can advise, to open any door God allows me to open for you. But again, like I said, I believe everything is destined by God, and to have President Trump as a president right now is God's blessing in the sense that he's the only one who had the strength to sanction Kagame. Now, I love Barack Obama. I think he's the most inspirational American president we ever had. Great guy, but he had no grit. He had no grit. Now, Biden, Papa Joe, great guy. Call him Papa Joe. That's what we called him. You know, Papa Joe. Papa Joe was a great guy. No, Papa Joe. He used to like to have his shrimp at Old Ebbitt. He fell sick. He was not really there to, and they had all these young kids who had no clue about foreign policies, who had this annoying mantra called African solutions, African problems for African solutions, which means let the Africans fix their problem. I understand that. But this country was blessed to be the voice of the weak and the voice of the powerless. We cannot watch people anywhere in the world suffer and keep quiet. God will not forgive us for that. And so President Trump was, I was on the train heading to Mar-a-Lago when Felix and Kagame were in the White House discussing. And President Trump thought that they were friends till he said, when I saw them in the room arguing, like, wow, what's going on here? But he knew from that second that Kagame was a snake. The key about President Trump is you can smell a rat a mile away. And he smelled a big one. A big one on that day in the Oval Office. And thank God that Felix had the gumption not to try to be nice to Kagame. He was forceful. He was a president. And I remember on the train, and I was watching on YouTube, and I remember seeing when Kagame came on stage and said, if this deal doesn't work, it's not his fault. At that second, I knew he had no intention to honor the Washington Accord. He had no intention. His family lives in big homes. They are in the US. His son went to West Point. They're rich. They live really well, while people are suffering back in Rwanda. He claims to make what, $85,000 a year? Oh, well, we do know that's a lie because the last report by Yahoo News a few years ago said he's worth about $1 billion. Why do we have the war in Eastern Congo? Because they're stealing resources from their fellow African brothers. Rwanda exports minerals they don't have. So everyone knows what's going on here. Everyone knows that he's a criminal. But only President Trump had the balls, pardon my French, I'm sorry, to take the fight to him and say, no, we're going to sanction you. And if you don't change your way, you're going to regret it. Kagame can't come to the US right now. I hope you don't know that. He needs a special permission to come. We're going to make that man regret his life. That's my plan. We're going to make sure he regrets every moment of his life. I do not believe he won the election freely and fair because for some odd reason, every time he runs, the person who is his opponent gets jailed a few months before election day. And he wins by 99.9% of the vote. Let that stick in your head. 99.9% of the vote, which means the opposition party voted for him. It's impossible. It's really impossible. I'm sure in heaven, you don't even get 99.9% of the vote. I mean, it's like, hey, it's impossible. So we know what he's doing. And so there are two ways, in my point of view, to get him out. Now, I prefer the best one, which is the election. We build a strong movement here with US backing, with EU backing, have people go on the ground, have election monitors on the ground, watch the election, make it very clear to him you steal the election, there'll be consequences. We have done this before. Iraq did this to Goodluck in 2014 in Nigeria, saying, don't steal it. It can be done. I hope for that one. I hope we have a situation where we have election. Now, the second option is I do not believe this man is legit. He stole the election. He's not the president, and so he has no mandate. He has no mandate. And so when you have no mandate, what the hell are you doing there being president? We intend to squeeze him really hard in the sense that, so right now, his troops are sanctioned. They can't use any money. We're going to squeeze his money. I'm going to push the White House and Congress to keep squeezing that money. And like Kibak Kagame, I think it now hits him that Trump is giving him a long rope to hang himself. Because the one thing that, he was so shocked he got sanctioned. He was so surprised because he has powerful friends in Congress and they did not expect this to happen. And if you follow our Twitter page, you can see how we got there. And he was very surprised from that. So again, I want to say that you guys should please do not feel it's a hard burden. It's not going to be easy. You have a long road ahead of you. I don't lie to you, it's going to be hard. But nothing good comes from laziness. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing that lasts a lifetime comes easy. Your number one mission right now is recruitment. Recruit people to your side. Turn everyone into an ambassador. Texas, New York, California, Ohio, Wisconsin. Call your member of Congress, call your senators, and hound them. We'll give you a script. Here's your ask. You must have an ask. Use U.S. law, the Alien Tort Statute, or the Alien Tort Act. Sue. Use the court systems. There are so many ways you can put pressure on Kagame. He has to feel the power of the U.S. government on his neck. And again, to his generals and to his ministers and to all the people who enable him to do this, we know you have money in the US or in London or in Paris or somewhere. We know you have homes in London and Paris. There are US laws that we can seize them. Because you are, human rights violation. We can long up the list. The US government has a bag of tricks they're going to start hitting him with. So my advice to you people who enable this criminal is watch your back. Unless you change your ways and help change this government and help bring free and fair elections to Rwanda and help stop the killings of innocent people in Rwanda and also in DRC. Every money you've stolen will be taken from you. Because I've never seen a general who makes $1 million a month, but they do exist in Africa for some odd reason. Your strength is your people. Your strength is you. Your strength is God's will and God's blessing. So may the blessing of God be with you as you go through this strong fight. Do not be afraid to fight back. Do not be afraid to punch hard. And I will say, think of people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, what they went through. We as Black people can walk down the street in America because people bled and died and suffered for that. embrace that to free your people from this criminal. But again, is use the law, use Congress to pressure him. And by God's grace, he's done.
Dr. Elliott is gonna react to the powerful words from a powerful man, Carl von Batten. And I think we asked him to take a group picture. Is that a yes? And I think he said yes. So, Dr. Elliott is gonna react to your remarks, Mr.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Carl. After this speech, it's very hard to follow. And I know that he has to go. And I'm gonna ask before he leaves that we have a new birth of freedom in Rwanda. I want to ask everybody before I say anything to stand. To stand for a brief moment for the people who have died in Rwanda. Silent for 1 minute. For those who have been killed, like Kizito, Karasira, Setsenda Shonga, Karegeya, Rwigara, and many others. For those who have died in prison, like Kabuga, like who are still in prison, like Ingabire, Damanje, for those in the exiles, for those who have disappeared, for those whom we know the names and those whose names are only known by God. May we stand up for 1 minute of silence. You can sit down now. My fellow Rwandans, I'm not going to give my speech right now. All what I want to do is to tell von Batten that we are ready. I don't know whether von Batten is listening. I want to tell him that we are ready. I want to let him know that there is a change now coming of freedom in Rwanda. There is a change that's gonna produce the best Rwanda that we have ever seen. Let us words bear good fruits. Let our arguments defend life. Let our politics release the innocent from prison. Let our society against tyrants. Let our arguments defend widowers and orphans in the Congo from Rwanda defense invasion and occupation. Let our daily devotion, poems, songs prove you're worthy of witnessing a democratic freedom. I can promise that Rwanda, the artist will sing again, that Rwanda's prisoners will come home, that Rwanda's will need help to reach not silence. The Rwanda diaspora will become more than a people haunted abroad. May Rwanda's leaders learn that the nation is not their possession. Rwandans have a new birth of freedom. Rwandans, those who are dead, have not died in vain, because we're going to bring democracy home. May the living find courage. And now I will ask just people who are here to summarize a few words, because I'm just trying to respond to Von Button, that we promise we're going to do this. Let us plainly tell the whole world that when they see the advertisement saying visit Rwanda, we are here to wear on our chests and carry in our hearts a great appeal. Free Rwanda. Free inhabitants. Free the political prisoners. Free the innocent. Let us tear down this evil, the Kagame regime, peacefully, lawfully, brick by brick, and lie by lie. Let us expose every falsehood, answer every threat with courage, and answer every weapon meant to scatter us, to divide us, to create diaspora with words of love, freedom, strong enough to gather people to talk, debate, and listen as our brother in Christ and son in democracy for freedom has always mentioned to us our brother Van Batten. I will say Van Batten, I know he's busy writing to all posters. Let the freedom bells ring in Rwanda across the eastern and across the eastern Congo. Let them ring for the prisoners. Let them ring for the widowers and the orphans. Let them ring for the mothers, the artists, the students, the young dreamers not yet born. My friends, I love you. God bless you. May we come together to make these dreams into a new reality for hope of our country and for generations still waiting to inherit freedom in Rwanda, as our friend Von Batten mentioned. We are going to go for freedom today, and we are starting now to come and build it and go for it. By the grace of Almighty God, our champion, President Donald J. Trump, with the accord, the Washington Accord signed by him, that accord won't be blown in the sky like the way he blew the President of the United States and blew away the two leaders of Burundi. That accord won't be blown away because J. Trump is there, and we are going for you today and tomorrow. This was just because the vision will come later, but this was just to respond to Von Batten.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elliott. Now, Dr. Van Batten's time is very precious. He was so gracious to give us a few minutes. Let's take the group picture, and we let him go because he's so busy. He's a very busy man. Thank you so much. So you wanna let's get together here. We put him in the middle, and then we put him in the middle. We're gonna step forward a little bit, and then the cameraman will take the pictures. Back in the
Your postcard.
yeah. I'll not you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's send Kagame a postcard. We'll not forget that this is the beginning of the end. This is Christmas card. Yeah, this is the Christmas card. Okay.
Okay.
Munini cyane. Kwicara no kwicara byane.
Okay.
Yes.
Are we ready? Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Yes. Kagame Tombe.
Efe, tombe.
Ntabwo bajyamo. That's because I believe they won't be part of the pictures because they're taking the pictures.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Dr. Carl, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna ask our IT people to help us and salvage the last few minutes we have. Because we're going to end at 5 o'clock. Is it? Okay. Okay, we have people in a queue from overseas. I understand there is let me see. Let me go through my list here. I have Peter Verlinden. Is he? Peter Verlinden.
I'm available.
We're going to go to Europe first because it's getting late. Oh. I have Peter Verlinden.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. So something happened and we ran out of time. We only have about 15 minutes left before we give away this conference room that they gave us. So we're gonna ask you to maybe take 5 minutes. I know it's hard, really, but if you could take 5 minutes, and then I think there's a couple other people who would like to say something. Thank you.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Are you Peter Verlinden? If so, yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, a big welcome, big greetings from Belgium to you all. Probably many people of you know me already. Just very shortly, I want to say that I'm involved in the Rwanda dossier since 1989, first as the spokesman of the Belgian Minister of Cooperation Development, and since 1991 as a journalist for the Belgian Public Broadcaster. I just want to support any initiative that brings the Rwandan opposition together. Because in all these years, more than 30 years, my experience as an observer was that it was, and it is still a very difficult point to bring the opposition people together. Because as Mr. Van Betten told you rightly, there is a big problem with the dictatorship, and not only with the person of Paul Kagame. It's going much further than that. It's not only his person, it's a whole clique, it's a whole, I dare saying it's like a mafia having the power in Rwanda after everything that happened all these years before. So I think it's very important that these people who want to install a real democracy in Rwanda, who want to have freedom for all Rwandese people, who want recognition for all crimes, as well the crimes during the genocide, as well as the crimes by the Rwandan Patriotic Front and the crimes actually still going on in Rwanda. All these people who are together to reinstall a real democracy, a free Rwanda, should come together. And whatever support I can as an observer, as a journalist, and now also as a politician in Belgium, whatever support I can give to these initiatives, I will give them. I think it's so important that Rwandese people, they have the right to a real life in security, to freedom, to a better life than they have, a life that's now under repression, a life in anger, a life where people cannot speak up as they should be able to. And I really welcome any initiative as the initiative that you are taking, you all now, to bring that free Rwanda to us all, because it will be a benefit also for the whole region. We all know that the role of this regime, this Rwandese regime in the Congo, a country that I know very well, is also a very, very negative role. Rwanda is making war in the Congo since 1996, has killed hundreds of thousands of people. Some analysts speak even about millions of people during all these years just to keep the power. And that's not how people should live together. So my warm support for your initiative, and I really hope that one day, and hopefully not too long, not in the too long future, but in the near future, that one day we will be able to travel all together again to Rwanda, to a free Rwanda, where people can speak freely and live together as people should live together. Thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter Verlinden. Thank you so much for those powerful words. And God willing, yes, we will unite our hands and we will be together. Thank you so much. Thank you. Merci, merci, merci beaucoup de la Belgique. Merci beaucoup. Alors, our friends, who do we have in line, in a queue? We have somebody. Bamara. Are you able to connect with Bamara?
Yeah, yes, I think I'm there.
Uratwumva neza?
Yego, ndumva mbumva.
Bon, sinzi icyo abandi babivugaho, urashobora kuvuga mu cyongereza cyangwa?
Ndumva nta kibazo byantera.
Yego. Umwanya usigaye bigiye kubabaza abantu benshi, ariko ahantu twahuriye bahaduhaye kugira ngo tuhakoreshe kugeza saa 11, gahunda zatunaniye. Tugiye kuguha iminota isigaye yose uyikoreshe, kubera ko turakubashye, turagukunda. Amakuru meza ngo baratwongereye igihe, ubwo rero ngira ngo bari baraguhaye iminota 15 ahari. Ubwo wayifata noneho ukatubwira rwose akari ku mutima. Urakoze.
Yego, ishobora no kutagera, ndagerageza kugira ngo turebe ko tubigenza, dukore ibigomba gukorwa byose. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be with you here in this forum for democratic transition in Rwanda. It's very complicated to ask Rwandan to deliver a testimony just because we Rwandans, what we have experienced is horrible, it's complex, complicated, and painful. But anyway, because you are in this march towards a democratic transition, I will try to find something to say that could advance you in that path. To present myself, I'm Dr. Prosper Bamara, industrial chemist and stem cell biologist. I'm a former energy regulation director in Rwanda. I'm an ex-combatant, having served within the ranks of the RPF. I'm a poet and writer. My recent novel poem, The Epic of the Master Liar and His Little Skull Crushing Hoe, written in Kinyarwanda, was released on May 1st, 2026. It is important for me to mention that when I joined the RPF struggle, early 1990 decades, I was a student at the National University of Rwanda, meaning that Tutsi citizens attended the school up to university level, along with their Hutu compatriots. During the Second Republic period, problems existed. Flaws in the governance were visible, but they affected all ethnic communities, not just the Tutsis. But beyond the governance-related challenges, Rwandans lived together in a relatively good harmony. Hutu and Tutsi interacted fairly well at school, in businesses, at places, and in their social life in general. At this stage, I'm going to brief you on what happened when young Tutsi recruits from Rwanda and young Hutu recruits from Rwanda tried to join the RPF in the struggle. The Hutus were very few, but they existed. When Tutsi recruits born and raised in Rwanda made their way to join the RPF in the struggle, they were mistreated and in many cases killed by the means of a gafuni, a small, worn-out and rusty hoe. Why were they killed? Minor reasons why Tutsi born and raised in Rwanda were killed included jealousy, unexplained jealousy, unfounded grudges, and unexplained hatred. But the strongest and most compelling motivation by far was probably related to political philosophy and propaganda. They were killed to protect the narrative that had been successfully sold to the international rights organizations and to foreign governments by the RPF propaganda machine, that no Tutsi in Rwanda was allowed to study or to run a successful business in Rwanda. That in schools, segregation was so rampant that Tutsi children were more than once a week asked to stand up and go to the front, where they were asked to state their ethnic group, etc. But this was wrong, because when it happened just in the first year of primary school. With this background, everyone can now understand that when a young Tutsi recruit arrived in the RPF struggle and said his father was a director general or a banker or a non-successful businessman, or said he was himself in school or at university, or that he owned a restaurant or owned 2 minibuses, this was perceived as contradicting the very political philosophy underlying the RPF's propaganda. It was like a punch in the face of the propaganda. What about the few Hutu who joined the RPF in the struggle? The few young Hutu recruits who joined the RPF in the struggle were killed by a gafuni, often before they even reached the training wing or before they finished their introduction. Almost no chance of survival was left to them. When an individual Hutu recruit miraculously managed to pass through the filters and survived, this was considered as a rare event. Of note is also the question concerning the identity of killers during the genocide and other concurrent atrocities in Rwanda. The world needs to know that Interahamwe militia were not the only criminals who killed Tutsi civilians during the genocide. The killers of Tutsi civilians who were killed together with an important number of Hutu and some Twa civilians counted in their ranks the following groups. Group number 1, Interahamwe, MRND, ruling parties youth. Group number 2, Impuzamugambi, CDR, parties youth. Group number 3, Abakombozi, PST, parties youth. Group number 4, Inkuba, MDR, parties youth. Group number 5, JPL, PL, parties youth. Group number 6, our technicians, aka technicians, who were the RPF's highly trained commandos, disseminated among all of the above groups in most cases, with the consent of some party leaders, like in the case of PSG and PL, and possibly MDR. Currently, it is known that, concurrently to the genocide, hundreds of thousands of Hutu civilians were massacred by the RPF forces in their occupied area. Thousands of Hutu citizens are still being tortured and killed in prisons and in official detention centers. A certain number of Tutsis, this is another reality, a certain number of Tutsi families and individual Tutsi were killed during the genocide by RPF, and others were killed long after the Hutu extremist militia had gone in different parts of Rwanda. The RPF military and political leaders were never asked to answer for the crimes they allegedly committed. The Arusha International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, ICTR, closed its doors before a single RPF commander or political leader was indicted or prosecuted. Entire ICTR's secret investigation reports about the RPF crimes were sunk into oblivion. Here below is the complete list of what to expect when a military unchecked dictatorship is allowed to settle and its leaders enjoy international impunity and unconditional shield against the international justice for past and present crimes. The list is here. You have the absence of good governance and the lack of the law, the rule of law, suppression of protection of citizens and inexistence of institutional integrity, a dangerously growing but highly disguised corruption, human rights abuses of all natures, causing widespread poverty and despair among the population, authoritarianism, and bad relations with the neighboring countries, aggression and military invasion of neighboring countries, creating and sponsoring a myriad of rebel movements in the neighboring countries where they kill, rape women, including of minor age, and displace entire populations, encouraging ethnic segregation and promoting incendiary hatred speeches by government ministers and dignitaries, speeches aimed at intoxicating the youth and casting a collective blame to a targeted ethnic group as genocide. Diplomatically influencing foreign governments and UN agencies in charge of refugees, sometimes corrupting some individual workers, so that Rwandan refugees are sabotaged in their protection-seeking processes or are stripped of their refugee status through an unjustified cessation clause, etc. Continued violence and fear instilled by the government forces among the citizens of all ethnic groups in Rwanda and beyond. Dear fellow Rwandans and friends of Rwanda, let's join hands and reject ethnic segregation, ethnic hatred, and collective blame. We all know that all ethnic groups, Tutsi, Hutu, and Twa, have suffered and have known ethnic cleansing. We all know that the genocide in Rwanda has wiped out a very high percentage of the interior Tutsi community, but we also know that hundreds of thousands of Hutu have been killed in Rwanda and in Congo, while other hundreds of thousands of Hutu perished following conditions created by war campaigns sponsored or carried out by the Rwandan government's forces. We all know that the Twa community has been almost entirely erased. Let's come together and promote a collective memory. Let's come together and promote eco-citizenship as a way to usher our society into a new era of true reconciliation and genuine democracy. Let us plant the seeds for a lasting peace and permanent national healing by acknowledging that the wounds of the Hutu and the wounds of the Twa are as painful as the wounds of the Tutsi. We need to accept this, to internalize this, and to live and to be together with this reality, with this shared reality. Today, I call on all of us to look at our past failures as failures that are shared by all our ethnic communities. Today, I call on all of us to think of aiming at a brighter future where love, prosperity, equal justice rather than fear and domination, and where human dignity will become a reality. Let's all agree that we must recognize the suffering of all victims. To conclude my testimony and speech of today, I urge all of us, Rwandans of all ethnic groups and from all corners, to unite, to feel reconciled, to tell the truth to one another, to promote and sustain peace, and to internalize our collective responsibility so that we can be able and determined to rebuild Rwanda together when we have overcome fear and intimidation. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, hallelujah. It's okay, I'm a speaker, right? We are going to ask our wonderful brother, Prosper, to come and share also. As you know, they have extended our time, so everybody will have a chance to speak. We have a brother Scott, we have our brother Pierre Celestin also, and everybody who was on the program, you guys are going to be able to speak. But I wanna introduce our friend Prosper. He is a very powerful activist, powerful man who love to fight, that he has been in over 15 protests downtown DC. He works for UN, and he's doing it why he's doing it not because he needs money, but because the heart he has for justice and for peace in the region. So without delay, Brother Prosper, the microphone is yours. Vous avez la microphone. Is that how you say it? Vous avez la parole et vous pouvez parler en français, je crois.
Bonsoir. Nous pouvons prendre une minute pour les plus de 10 millions de Congolais qui sont morts, violés en RDC. On peut prendre une minute. Merci. Je suis là pour vous rendre les honneurs, vous remercier infiniment parce que vous êtes des braves. Moi, les jours d'aujourd'hui, je vous surnomme la solution des Grands Lacs. Prenez courage, fortifiez-vous. Je suis Prosper Makanda, activiste comme Christine a dit. Je remercie sa bravoure. C'est une dame de fer. Elle a combattu et elle continue toujours à combattre. Je remercie aussi l'Assemblée pour me donner la parole au nom de notre chef de l'État, Félix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo. Sans oublier aussi Fachi Béton. Sans oublier aussi notre dame, la première dame de la diaspora, Madame Hélène Ngandou Kapinga, l'excellence, l'ambassadrice. Et je vous remercie aussi au nom de tous les peuples congolais en général. Vraiment, je vais tracer l'historique pour 3 minutes pour la RDC. Le Congo a beaucoup souffert, en commençant au début de sa jeunesse, 1960. Les Belges sont arrivés, on nous a donné l'indépendance. Après l'indépendance, c'était la sécession des Katanga. Il y avait les morts, les sangs avaient coulé. Mobutu a pris l'indépendance, Mobutu a pris le pouvoir en 1965 avec la dictature incroyable, les bras de fer, parti unique. Il a fait sa monnaie, son drapeau, il a changé le Congo à Zaïre, que vous connaissez bien. Il a dirigé le pays avec dictature. Il a martyrisé aussi le peuple congolais et aussi il a tué. Le sang a coulé. Nous sommes arrivés en 1997. Mobutu est parti. Il y a Mouzé Laurent Désiré Kabila. Merci. Donc, pour dire que le sang a coulé en RDC, c'est la raison pour laquelle je vous invite demain pour assister à notre alliance des organisations de la société civile, des Grands Lacs. Comme aujourd'hui, c'est la naissance des synergies des partis politiques rwandais, demain, ça sera aussi la naissance de l'alliance des sociétés civiles des Grands Lacs. Je vous exhorte, chers camarades des partis politiques, pourquoi pas écrire un mémorandum au chef de l'État Félix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo pour lui montrer votre vision, une vision salvatrice, une vision libératrice. Et aussi, je vous exhorte, si possible, de faire un partenariat avec notre parti présidentiel IDPS. Parce que le même combat que vous menez aujourd'hui, c'est le même combat que l'IDPS au Congo avait mené. Il a réussi aussi la victoire. C'est pourquoi j'ai vraiment vous remercie parce que nous avons demain une table ronde de l'Alliance des sociétés civiles des Grands Lacs. Venez nombreux, on va vous recevoir. Je pense que le reste, nous allons partager en famille et je vous remercie.
Je prends juste une minute pour répondre à notre cher ami congolais. Et on est heureux de votre invitation. On va participer parce que dans notre groupe, on est conscient qu'ensemble, on est beaucoup plus fort. On sera là. Ensemble, on doit sauver notre région parce qu'après, c'est la paix dans notre région, ça sera la paix pour nos enfants et nos arrière-enfants. Et surtout, notre histoire, notre malheur doit être une leçon pour que ça ne revienne jamais. Donc, on va être avec vous demain dans votre réunion. Merci pour l'invitation, on sera là.
Thank you so much. We have gone over the time that we were supposed to be here, and we are negotiating to see if we can pay a little bit more of the money so that we have everybody who has been invited to speak. But while they're doing that, I want Ngabri's son to be ready. He's coming next. And we have Scott also, who is here from, he's been working on the issue in the Africa. There is a message he has also. So while they negotiate, let's have Ngabri's son speak. And after him, we should have Scott. He has only a few minutes he's gonna share. And then we can have our brother Pierre Celestin moderating. So pray that it work. Pray that they let us stay a little bit longer. So Scott, please stand by. We're gonna have Ngabri's son. Ngabri's son, after him, he's on the line. He's gonna say a few words and then you're gonna be next.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me? I want to thank Reverend Christine Coleman for inviting me and giving me this chance to share our family's testimony. But for the sake of time and the negotiations going on, I will keep it quite brief and short. Yeah, if you most of you know of my mother and her case, everything has been able, everybody has been able to follow it publicly. So we'll focus a little bit more on the personal side of this ordeal that our family has gone through for these last 16 years. Back in 2010, after having rebuilt a new life in the Netherlands, my mother decided to go back to Rwanda and to participate on the election of that year, 2010. She was not welcomed with open arms by the regime. The plan that we had as a family was that every 2 to 3 months, she would travel back home to the Netherlands to visit us and spend time with us. But the first time when she tried to do that, she was stopped by the airport and was not allowed to board her plane. And that is when this nightmare, this 16-year nightmare began for us. She was put on house arrest, and later that year she was arrested. She was not even given the chance to run in the presidential election. She had 2 years of a sham trial, and afterwards she was given 15 years imprisonment. This came as a very heavy shock and disturbance to our family. My father, he had to fill the role of not only a father, but also a mother, and at the same time also an advocate. He gave all he could for my mother's sake and her cause. But in 2016, his health got the worst of it. And my father contracted a neurological disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS. And he has been bedridden since then, and his health is deteriorating as we speak. So this time, after my mother got released by presidential pardon in 2018, we as family first got a little bit of hope again that things will go for the better in Rwanda. Perhaps they even started to open the political space. But now looking back in hindsight, I think it was actually part of their calculated plan. Because my mother was given 15 years, as I said. She served 8 of those years, and then 7 years she was free. She was on probation. She was not allowed to leave the country, nor do any political activities, but she was not in her cell. This probation period would have ended last year in the summer, at the end of the summer. And exactly just before she would have her last probation meeting, the government came up with a ruse to arrest her again. And this time she's facing, together with 9 of her party members, perhaps 20 years to life in prison. So I don't think it was a coincidence. I think it was a well-calculated plan of the Rwanda regime. It came as a very heavy shock, because in those 7 years of freedom, we did get hope again as a family that normality would return to us. Perhaps even that our parents would be reunited before my dad will pass away from the illness that he has. But that didn't happen. She got arrested again. She's now in prison 344 days. And in these 344 days, she's only allowed to have a phone call with us once. The Rwanda regime shows again that it's unable to actually bring that democratic promise or change that maybe the RPF said in the beginning that they would do. And one of the things that I want to highlight, a concern that I have, is that the Rwanda regime, they are very good at showing themselves as willing to cooperate. I experienced this myself since I started advocating for my mother in January this year, when I met the Rwandan Minister of Justice, Emmanuel Ugarishibuya. I met him at the United Nations Universal Periodic Review on the country of Rwanda. And when I spoke to him, he told me that he had faith in the fairness of the trial that my mother would be facing. And I brought up the issue that my mother is being discriminated while she's in prison. Like I said, she was not allowed to have any family phone call until 300 days later. And she's not allowed even till today to go to the Sunday service. It is something that gives her strength to continue. He told me that I could put my complaints on paper, send it to the Rwandan Human Rights chairperson, Providence Umurungi, and I did. The chairperson even visited my mother in her cell. But we all know that the true power in Rwanda lies only by one man, and that's the President Paul Kagame. So even though perhaps they themselves meant well, afterwards they never answered back on my letter, and they never brought the changes that brought fairness to my mother's incarceration. So
Remy.
Yes.
We are sorry, we're running out of time. We're going to have to ask you to conclude right now. 5:30, we have to give away this room.
Yes.
And we have one more speaker who will be given maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So if you can end it now, I am so sorry, but this is it. We're just in a bind right now. If you can do that, that would be great. Thank you so much.
I want to thank again Reverend Coleman for inviting me, but also I want to encourage everyone, even though the price is high that my mother and we as family paid, I believe, and I know that my mother believed, that the price will be worth it. If we can bring freedom and democracy to Rwanda. Thank you so much. God bless.
Machozi ya Wanyarwanda sio bure, machozi ya Warundi sio bure, machozi ya Wakongo sio bure, damu ya Wakongo yanalia. Kagame umeiba, umeua, umeteka nyara wengi, umefanya uhalifu mwingi Kagame. Wakati wako umefika, jiandae kwa kifo chako Kagame. Kifo unachotamani kiwe juu ya wengine, sasa kimekujia wewe pia. La mort que tu souhaitais aux autres, l'État maintenant frappe toi aussi. The death you wish upon others is now come upon you too. Liwawe olingi likolo ya basusu, ebeti opesi koyo. Okufa koya gala kubalala kati nawe kikujide Kagame. Umeshauriwa mara nyingi, unaamini silaha, unawadara watu uliowanywa waache kuwa wa Kongo. Unajifanya gaidi na uendelee na mauaji yako. Tulikwambia wape amani majirani zako. Unajifanya viziwi na kuanzisha vita. Kizito alilia lakini hukusikiliza. Darasi alimba lakini hukusikiliza. Mbadirama bado anakushauri Kagame, umevuka mstari Kagawe. Kifo unachotamani kiwe juu ya wengine, sasa kimekujia wewe pia. La mort que tu souhaitais aux autres, l'État maintenant frappe toi aussi. The death you wish upon others, it's now come upon you too. Liwawe olini likolo ya basusu, ebeti ompesi koyo. Okufa koya gala kubalala kati nawe kikujide Kagame. Sasa Afrika yote inajua kwamba wewe ni gaidi unayeua, unaiba, unateka nyara na unachochea vita. Sasa dunia nzima inajua ukatili wako umewaumiza wengi Kagame. Umewaua wengi Kagame. Umewaibia wengi Kagame. Umewafunga wengi bila sababu Kagame. Machozi ya Wanyarwanda Wakongo liowawai amekulani Kagame. Kifo unachotamani kiwe juu ya wengine, sasa kimekujia wewe pia. La mort que tu souhaitais aux autres, l'État maintenant frappe toi aussi. The death you wish upon others, it's now come upon you too. Liwawe olingi likolo ya basusu, ebeti ompesi koyo. Okufa koya gala kubalala kati nawe kikujide Kagame. Muaji halisi ni Kagame. Gaidi halisi ni Kagame. Malifu halisi ni Kagame. Mwizi halisi ni Kagame. Mtekaji nyara halisi ni Kagame. Wanawivu kila wakati na kuna anayemwamini Kagame. Mwenyewe kifo, ugonjwa wa Afrika ni Kagame. Kifo unachotamani kiwe juu ya wengine, sasa kimekujia wewe pia. La mort que tu souhaitais aux autres, l'État maintenant frappe toi aussi. The death you wish upon others, machozi ya Wanyarwanda si bure, machozi ya Warundi sio bure, machozi ya